So, earlier today, PaperX played a game on Bind against Nova Esports, and they played this comp here. And this is special for a couple reasons. One, it's the first time we saw Envy on PaperX, but two, Forsaken is playing Clove, and perhaps somewhat surprisingly, Clove is one of the very few agents that Forsaken had never played. And for those of you who don't know, Forsaken is getting very close to something very special, because he is now only 3 agents away from having played every single agent in the game in an official match. You see that he's played now 2 games of Clove, because he played it in the second one as well in this tournament. If you're wondering what those 3 agents are, they are Vito, obviously new agent, Viper, which seems very possible, and Gecko, which also I think is actually perhaps the most surprising. But all of those are quite possible, and I kind of just hope that they just do it in this tournament so that they, you know, we can tick that off and say that Forsaken has now played every single agent in the game. But whilst Gecko is a little bit of a surprise that Forsaken maybe has never played it, you might also think that's the case for Clove, because if any team was going to play Clove, you would think it's going to be PaperX, because they're going to do stupid aggressive stuff. And actually, we're going to pick this up at 3-0 here to Nova, right? So PaperX have lost the bonus. They're now on an eco, as you can see, with full sheriffs here. And this is something that I think PaperX just do way better than everyone else. Look at the map. It's all 5 of them right here. Yeah, you can't see them all, but they're all there. All 5 of them are just going to go in a big stack and go this way. I love this for a couple of reasons. One, PaperX seem to be the only team doing this, really. But as you will see, it seems to work very often for them on these ecos.
但是还好最后靠个人实力拼赢了。
OB1 7杠0的一个战绩，
这个鬼眼是想来穿的，没什么问题，有队友来补的。这 B 点人很多
，5B 场防守方的5B 场吗？
带着包直接就跑了，没问题。
应该是听到了茫茫多的脚步。
哎，左边在面前，
能走吗？只是打了一个1换1，哎呦，
这强调的位置，
用自己的正义敲掉了2个人，这份的伏笔还是比较大的。
一个是爆能器，一个是强的位置，所以现在是不能。
So let's talk about the beginning of this round, right? And let's talk about why 5 stacking all as a group on an eco might sound completely stupid, but it's actually not that stupid at all. Because the thing is, a lot of the time, teams aren't going to just run in head first against what they know is an eco. Right, they're not just going to sprint in somewhere because they might be running into a stack like so, right? So you're often going to find something like Nova are doing here. They're ready for some aggression. They're waiting for some aggression. And it does actually come from PaperX. They're a little bit slow with it, right? So they don't go aggro like straight away. They give it a good 15 seconds before they kind of go aggro. They just abuse Yoru better than everyone else, right? Because the thing about Yoru, as you can see on the map just here, is Yoru is in 2 places at once. Doing this without a Yoru when you 5 stack, yeah, probably isn't as good, to be honest, because there is just an easy answer out. But of course, your opponents don't know that no one is there, right? And so they get caught out here, Nova, playing a somewhat normal round when it's anything but a normal round. And this is what, like, going for big stacks, right, can make a difference. Because if this is just like 2 players doing this, you probably don't have like the confidence to be as aggressive as they are here, PaperX. And even though we end up in this 3v3, the point is, in these kind of rounds that we're watching here, when you're on a full eco, you want it to get messy and chaotic where there is no answers, right? You want the spike to be getting dropped back here. Something is now TP'd across the map, and it's actually here instead. Right? These are all the things that you want in these kind of eco rounds, and this is why PaperX are so successful at.
想要给的双决斗都过来了，给了一个蛇吻，稍微把进攻方的位置给逼退了一点点。
对，但在蛇吻生效之前已经带着爆能器蹭出来了，但现在你能看到是 PaperX 他们的预示其实控制也很快啊。
给了一个小车，确定了依然有人在架，一把往下推出来，前有人自己的正义又敲掉了2人，非常得到，而且主要确实3D 血的容错太低了。
哎呦，看见了，
飞是飞过来了，但是这个手都不能松啊，看到手肘
了，
直接去穿。
And you might say this is not a great round from Nova, and that's perfectly fine. But the thing is, a lot of teams will freeze up in situations like this. They won't necessarily know what to do. Should we fight? Should we not fight? PaperX find a good timing when these guys actually start now to move into different positions. Now they get really aggro though, right? Like now we're pushing deeper than you ever expected us to be. And that's the PaperX secret. And also, I want you to consider that really at no point in this round, Nova, you know, they don't really figure out exactly who is where, right? It takes them way too long to kind of figure this out. And the pressure of something being here still causes them to, even in this spot where they get into the 3v3, they've seen the Raze and the Viper there. They know the Viper and the Raze are there, but they have no idea where something could be. And that almost causes them to still go back into the Raze and Viper, right? Which then they end up losing. And so you see, like, we end up in this bizarre spot where they're so worried about something could literally be anywhere on the map, and that's the strength of Yoru that they use to their advantage. Okay, now let me play you round number 6 and just watch how Forsaken gets away with this. I do not know.
Paper X 还是在慢慢的找回状态 ，Forsaken 一上来已经有手杀了。 是在 B2楼的位置，他一个人就顶出来了，
还想摸出来多少次了？真的还敢来
啊！光把人给打掉，但是有化蝶，
再等，站在面前，
脸上。但光这个位置，他其实是想博弈一下，扔一个光芒闪爆，再出去打免费枪的。哇！一米顶出来也点掉一人。 Green 的位置也已经被确认，爆能器卡在这儿了。
好剑给闪，要强行要位置的。
确认了 Forsaken 在右边，第一时间没架住，但第二时间头部命中，两人的补枪来得非常快 ，easier。
So again, this is like just classic Paper X philosophy of just being so different to everyone else that it just causes you so many problems. You're just not ready for it. And combined with the player quality that they have, it just creates so many problems for you. So we actually came to the round a little bit late, but you can see again, Paper X here, they've gone for this aggro play. Again, just abusing this Yoru, right? Saying that, well, if they do run A fast, we'll still have, you know, some defenses there. And Forsaken manages to swing out here and manages to get the first kill in the round. But then in classic Paper X fashion, a lot of teams here obviously would go, well, we got our kill, you know, 4-stack UTP over there. Let's play a normal round 5v4. We're in a good spot. Paper X, obviously, they just don't play like that, right? We're going to continue to go forward here. Again, the push and pull of this is really quite nice because we do get the TP across. Jing then does leave. He makes these guys think like, oh yeah, they probably have just left, whilst we're still actually being aggro here. Obviously, Forsaken knows he's got his ult here, so I'm guessing he's just thinking, well, I can take this risk because I've got 2 chances at getting this kill, and yeah, he does manage to get that kill. And now, again, you're in this bizarre spot if you're these guys, right? Because you're still worried that someone like Jing might be here. You've now got the Fade here and the Clove here. And so you can see here, the Yoru is staring this way, waiting for some reaction from Jing. So these guys have to be isolated here because they're worried about being surrounded from every single angle. And that gives Envy this 1v1. And again, because it's Paper X, well, guess who's likely to win that 1v1? Paper X. Paper X, they put themselves in these situations so often, they know how to play them better than their opponents, right? They drag you into playing their game rather than a normal game of Valorant. And look, I know this was an off-season tournament, but take a look at round number 8 as well, just to see how crazy Paper X were willing to be.
easier 的位置，
顶楼很标准的前顶烟，但这次人很多，Nova 这边做好
打成清一侧，
是，
但清的是另一侧，清的是黑背这一侧真被清了，而且在抓道具。OB1 穿着烟影儿，穿着一个直接跳出去了，进。然后再扛上王爷，我就没有太多的道理，进都没有找桑金要任何的技能，他从那个烟边跳来的，强行摸过去，但是被喷掉，很久。
Okay, so we have a lot to get through here. This is kind of classic Paper X stuff, so it might take us a little while to get through it all, but first things first, this is a Yoru ult round, right? And Paper X, they're going to go for this aggro walk up here and short with the smoke here and 3 of them walking up. This is just a good call to do this kind of stuff against Yoru ult rounds, because if you think about it, if the Yoru ult comes this way and sees the 3 of you, that's not great, but it probably means that the rest of the team wanted to come this way, but are they about to just sprint into 3 of you? Probably not. And of course, the Yoru can't help them now with any util either. So you've probably scuppered their plan somewhat if they did want to do that. If the Yoru goes some elsewhere, right, be it anywhere else on the map, well, then you know you've got now 3 people either going on a fast flank or about to aggro into the team. These super aggro calls against Yoru ult rounds, I think, are just a good idea. I think these are just good calls against if they're going in for a Yoru ult off the rip. We see them get a kill there, it gets traded. We now get some chaos here where Jing just jumps through a smoke, gets a kill. He then gets waylay ulted, but then we trade it. We then get a Clove smoke to help keep Jing alive. You know, to stop him dying whilst he's waylay ulted. He then does die as he's trying to get the kill with his own ult. It's a chaos round. We then have double TP'd over here as well, right? The spike is down here. I mean, just look at the map. It's a chaotic round. Eventually, the spike gets picked back up, and Devi ends up dying here to a bit of spam from the Viper. We end up in this 2v2. Now, we can play this a little bit faster. End up in a 2v2 here with a Viper's Pit. But again, we are going to see some Clove value coming out from Forsaken here in a second. But Paper X do make a mistake in this one and do end up losing the round.
大招，哦哟，很有决心啊！选择还是把大招交了出来，因为这一边。
但这一个叶灵一推，其实大致上也确认了2个人都会在重生点那一侧大概的一个位置。
对，不管拉到没拉到，其实位置都是压缩的，但手里有手本来拖。
2个人都被贴到这个位置，有点尴尬，被这个短炮手直接给拿下了，但是扛毒扛不了太久，
有时间
能够解决掉一人，滴了一下爆能器。
现在尽量来拖，对 Easy 来说，他明白的。
时间已经拖完了。
Something 虽然只是3滴血，但是这个 ID 放在这儿还是要
So everything is fine in this round for Paper X, and obviously they stick to kind of their general philosophy. But one thing that Invi perhaps, you know, it needs to learn is that Paper X, when they're at their absolute best, right, when they're like in tournament winning form, it's knowing when to stop, right? It's knowing when to do something else. And you see here again, we're getting value from the Clove, from the smoke here that Forsaken can put down, and he goes and runs through the smoke and gets the kill, right? But he knows the Viper's shot a snake bite at him from this position. The spike is planted in the pit. If this Viper goes this way, in a lot of trouble. Just gonna have to rely on blind spam through their own pit. If the Viper tries to come back this way, also in a lot of trouble, right? It's gonna have to run through you first. So not easy for this Viper either way. So this is just one of those situations where if Invi just sticks here, right? If he just stays around and just holds his ground, something sticks the spike, this Viper is in a lot of trouble, right? But because Invi decides to go full aggro, you know, and run in, it gives them the chance to win. And then something is, you know, tapping the spike and he's waiting for the Viper, doesn't have enough time, and ends up dying there and giving Nova the round. These next couple rounds I'm going to show you are going to be Forsaken rounds. I'm not really sure if they have too much to do with Clove, and maybe it's just more Forsaken, but I have to show them to you because they're very impressive rounds. So this is a Viper's pit round that Nova end up pushing through. They end up getting the kill. They, you know, it's a bad spot for Paper X, right? 3v5, completely lost the sight. Your Viper died with a Viper's pit here. Not great. Forsaken is going to decide to TP here, right? So here he is. And now he is about to do something absolutely monumental.
已经慢慢的蹭了下来，哦呦，这一下很有预警度啊！
位置被确认，那三枪这一侧的位置是给掉了，一个闪背的非常的快，复赛看这3枪，
天哪
，Invi
几乎无解的局面被 Forsaken 这3枪又给扳了回来了。现在压力再次给到了 Easy 的手里，
而且
有烟，而且一拆一下没关系，能够抢到第一吗？最后这一刻，
不是 Forsaken 在干。
So yeah, I'm not sure this is too much to do with Clove, these shots, but it's incredibly impressive either way. So something, here's this TP, instantly knows what he wants to do, goes for this flash. It does get turned. The first one on Heibei here is a bit free. I'm actually gonna, let's slow this down. Let's go half speed on this. So one, through the wall, I think that might have even been a double headshot, and then onto the kill there. I mean, just kind of insane. You know, 5v2, and they do that. I mean, that's incredible. Now, he does kind of miss this smoke maybe a little bit here, you know, because it kind of can only be diffused from one spot. But yeah, I mean, just amazing. Just truly amazing. But the thing is, whilst that round was amazing, we got another round from Forsaken in this same half. And again, I know this is an off-season tournament, so maybe Paper X were just, you know, kind of just feeling it and doing whatever they wanted. But it worked. It genuinely worked. I mean, look at them straight away again. We are 10 seconds into the round. We are on 129. Look at the map. Look where these guys are already. And this is just like pure... I mean, this is more than confidence, right? And just take a look at when this first kill is about to happen in a second, how surprised Nova are. I mean, look, they're just gearing up for what they think is a normal round. And this is the thing, and this is why Paper X have caused so many teams so many problems for so many years, is because when you play against Paper X, there almost are no normal rounds. You have to earn their respect for them to play a normal round, and Nova did not reach that bar, and so you end up in this, where we're 23 seconds into the round, and the round is pretty much over, and Forsaken is about to dunk on you.
他们因为是把摸摸的真的很快，但这一次其实 Nova 已经有预警了，在后点来架的，但是 Forsaken 一马当先，一往无前。
那还说
最后的结果是什么？一泻千里，拦不住了，有点，但是 Green 这一个
能打掉2个人，
但人很多，他知道人很多，手里现在还有闪。哎呦，
这怎么走出去呢？突然一个3枪，哇，这摇头传是传走了，但局面依然还是很难啊。
对，用独木来扛了一颗闪，后续现在位置还是要过，主动摸出来，直接拉 Forsaken 又是一个4杀。